Hello and welcome to this short video in which I want to share with you two major changes that have happened in relation to SSAS pensions. Now, in case you don't know what a SSAS pension is, don't worry, I'm going to explain what it is and how important it is to you as a business owner and a property investor to have a SSAS. First of all, I want to welcome my very special guest, who is Kevin Whelan, who helped me set up my SSAS in the first place. So Kevin, hello, how are you?
Good to be with you, Simon. And at a time when the government have changed things massively for all pension holders, but SSASs in particular.
Absolutely. So the two recent big announcements, I want to make sure everyone's aware of this. And, you know, I'm not an expert on SSAS. You absolutely are an expert on SSAS. So I thought it'd be great to get you to come on the YouTube channel to tell people about this. But let's kick this off. Just in case people don't know what a SSAS pension is, can you explain briefly what actually that is, please, Kevin?
Yeah, it's confusing language and wouldn't win any marketing prizes. You definitely don't get confused with software as a service or the armed forces SES. No, it's confusing language, but it basically is small self-administered scheme. Well, let's not worry about why it's called that, but essentially what it is a business can take complete control over old pensions and old profits, put them into a trust fund, and now inexhaustible trust fund, an unlimited trust fund, which allows you to use that money, whether you're in business to support that business, to scale that business, or if you're into property, to help you fund more property. So turning pensions and profits into tax-free property and tax-free trust funds. That's what a SSAS does.
Now, I think that's really important, Kevin, because for most people, first of all, they don't really think about their pension because it seems a long way off until they can maybe access a pension,
Sure.
typically. And even if they have got a pension with a company or a number of companies over a career of different jobs, they often don't know what their pension's doing for them. And the reality is often it's not doing much. So this is a way of an individual really having a lot more influence and the ability to grow and contribute to that pension fund. So it's going to be a lot bigger in the future, but then also using a SSAS, they can actually use it in conjunction with their property business, right?
Yeah, and use it now. So for most people, you're quite right. There's a level of disconnection with pensions. Well, it's 40 years in the future, or it's 20 years in the future, but it's always a long way off. I want to build wealth now. I want to build cash flow now. And SSAS is the only pension that really allows you to do that, because you're essentially running it like a business. And because it's a mirror image of you, if you're into property, it can do property. If you're into any kind of business, it can reflect that business. So it's a continuation of what you're already doing. So in many respects, it's better in principle because you're already doing it. It's helping you do more of what you already are great at, rather than putting your money into the hands of some third party who sticks a siphon into your pension, plugs a whole load of funds out, and you don't really know what you're going to get, when you're going to get, and how that cash flow is going to work. So it doesn't make a lot of sense when you think about it. Having control of it now makes perfect sense.
Now, one of the great things you mentioned there, obviously we can use the money now, we can use it in our property business. Now, there are some restrictions. And look, we want to make this a very quick, short video. And by the way, for everyone who's interested, if you have a SSAS, you want to get a SSAS, look in the link below this video. Kevin and I have done a much longer online recorded training all about SSASs and how you can use them and the ins and outs. So click on the link below to go and watch that training. But just in a very brief way, we can use it in property, but there are some restrictions. So what can we actually, if we have a SSAS, which is a private pension attached to our business, what are just some of the ways we can use that within our property investing, please, Kevin?
Okay. So first of all, let's talk about 3 quick strategies. We can buy, we can bridge, we can borrow. So we can buy, so we can take our pension and we can use that to buy commercial assets, land, commercial to residential, and even some assets that look and feel like they're residential, but in fact they're exempt residential property. Things like care homes, some supported living, maybe a bed and breakfast you convert into service accommodation. All of those things possible to buy, acquire, and basically be your own bank and use your own money to do that. That's the buy strategy. The
Right.
bridge strategy is you lend money to a third party. So you could be becoming almost a bank for yourself, where you can create value by helping other people create their properties, because you're using your own money for what you want to do, but you want to diversify with other great people that you've met in communities such as yours. The third way is you can borrow your own money. Only a SSAS can do that. So you can lend up to 50% of the value of your pension pot. And what's important about SSAS is you can have up to 11 people in. That's just a legal maximum. So if you've got a husband and wife, pool them together. If you've got up generations, pool the money together. Business partners, property business partners, pool the money together. Now you can lend 50% of that pooled money, more money, to your limited company. So you must have a limited company. That's the key requirement. And that 50% you can do anything. So you can use that money now and make profit now in your business today, not putting money into your pension for tomorrow.
Yeah, and that's a really powerful thing, isn't it? So these two big announcements, we already touched on one of them, and that is that they've actually removed the maximum limit. It used to be just over £1 million, I think. So talk to us about that, Kevin. How does that work?
Well, it was a bit of a shock, I have to say. You know, I pay attention to these budget things, but it was £1 million. What they've kind of said now is, well, we're going to remove that, so you can have an unlimited size of pension with no tax downsides whatsoever. So it's completely free of income tax, corporation tax, capital gains tax, and inheritance tax for those of you who want to leave a great legacy. All those taxes gone, and an unlimited supply of that, which I've never seen before. So it's
why do you think they
enormous news?
Well, why do you think they've done that? Because after all, because of COVID, you know, government's spent so much money, they're trying to claw money back in taxes. So it's an interesting move, isn't it? As you said, no one really expected that. What do you think the thinking behind it is?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, well, one was definitely to deal with NHS and public sector servants who were already exceeding that lifetime allowance. So there's no reason for them to stay in employment. So, but now by removing that, they could stay being a doctor, they could stay being in public service. So therefore meant that, you know, there's less challenge in the current economic circumstances, certainly for the NHS. The other thing, I'm sure they've done some calculations in the back office to say, well, how many people actually get above $1 million? Probably not that many. So the tax take is not going to be massive, but it's massive for most of us who can grow our money.
Yes.
Because then you can exceed that £1 million. And one of the big benefits, if you think about the logic of it, and I think it's a staggering realization when you say it out loud, if as a corporate taxpayer, it's 25p in the pounds going up in April, the government gives you your tax back. So here you are, put your money into a trust fund, ring-fenced and protected, and we're going to give you the tax back. That means whatever you buy with that money, you've got a 25% discount.
Yeah.
Anything you buy.
Yeah.
So if you're buying property, you're buying it for 25% off. You're buying gold, it's 25% off. If you're buying shares in your own company, you're giving yourself a benefit at a discount because the government give you the tax back. And that's just a huge, huge benefit.
And the other big thing is they've actually increased the amount. So if you have a business, hopefully you're making profit in that business. Otherwise, why are you bothering really? But if you're making profit, and obviously on profit, we have to pay our corporation tax if the rate's going up. But what we can do, we can take a certain amount, which they've increased now to £60,000. We can take that baseline profit, 60,000, put it into our pension and say we're then not going to pay that tax. So that's a £15,000 saving of tax, and you put it into a pension, which you can then use that. So effectively, you're buying things at a discount, as you just said. So I mean, £60,000 a year. That's a lot to be able to take off profits and not pay tax on it, right?
Yeah, it's a decent sum of money. So I mean, it was 40,000, so it was always reasonable. And you know, when a company contribution comes in, it's straight off the bottom line. And you don't have to qualify and say, well, this is my earnings. If you're a private individual, it's linked to your earnings. Whereas we know that many business owners pay themselves an artificially low salary and take most of their money as dividends. That doesn't matter. You can still pay in your 60. And you can go back previous years. So if now you get excited and go, whoa, it's unlimited, I'm going to get 25p in the pound off, I think I'll pay in now. I might even make this word pension interesting for a change. Maybe not quite sexy, but maybe sassy. So I'll pay into that now. And then you can go back previous years, you can go back 3 years. So lots and lots of technical stuff in there. But the exciting thing is you can build yourself a trust fund, tax-free for you, your family, and grow that so it's an infinite amount of money.
Fantastic. So this is really big news for anyone who's got a business, particularly if you're investing in property. You really should be thinking about getting a SSAS up. Now, it's not relevant for everyone. I know if people have worked, for example, the NHS or the ambulance or fire service, it's a state pension. They can't transfer those. But anyone who's got a private pension or has worked for a corporate, they could transfer. They may not be relevant. They should get some advice on that. But we're going to go into a lot more detail on this extended training we've done. So guys, click on the link below. Come and register that free training with Kevin and I. And if it's of interest, you can then obviously contact Kevin and he may be able to help you, advise you, etc. Kevin set up my pension for me and did a great job. I'm really happy with that. And I've grown it quite substantially. It was a very small pension when I moved it from Cadbury's, but it's grown quite substantially, which is great. So I'm really happy about that. And I really encourage anyone who's got a business to really consider this, because if you want to become wealthy, it's not just about making lots of money. It's about keeping the money you make. And part of that is minimizing the taxes you're paying. And obviously we all have to pay tax. It contributes towards society. But why not use all of the tax laws and regulations that have been put in place for you to minimize your tax? And SSAS is one of the ways of doing that. And then you actually get to use the money and benefit right now rather than having to wait till retirement age. So it's a bit of a no-brainer, really. Kevin, have you got any final thoughts you want to share with anyone watching this video?
Well, I think just echo what you said, Simon. Just be curious. Don't think that you become an expert either in this short video or a longer extended training. Just be curious and just find out, just like you do with anything that you're wanting to build your wealth. You invest a bit of time in education. Do the very same thing here. Don't prejudge it. Just find out. If it's a right fit for you, we'll know. And if it's a wrong fit for you, we'll know. We do the right thing by everybody, but it's great for so many people. And thanks, Simon, for giving it an airing. I know it's worked for you and many other people in your fantastic PIN community, and hopefully we'll serve more people in the future to build that tax-free trust fund.
Great. Well, Kevin, thanks so much for taking the time to share today. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell icon as well, because whenever we bring out timely videos like this with recent announcements, you want to make sure you watch them as soon as they possibly come out. So I encourage you to hit the like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. If you've got any questions or comments, please put them below. We try and answer as many as we can. And also make sure you click on the link below in the description to come and join Kevin and I on that hour-long, in-depth Q&A all about SSAS pensions to get your questions answered, to see if there's something that's right for you or not. So as ever, thank you, Kevin. I encourage everyone to invest with knowledge, invest with skill. Enjoy the next video. I do hope you got massive value from watching this YouTube video. I'd encourage you to click on the link below to come and do the online training with me. And I've got another video lined up for you, which I think is also going to be really useful, that you should watch once you've registered for the online training with me. So invest with knowledge, invest with skill. I'll see you very soon.